Nancy has a hearing from him.
Okay, I think we are ready to move on to the public testimony part of the evening. If someone has a sign-up sheet, is that and once again, you still have a chance to add your name to that sign-up sheet. If you've not yet. I will begin calling the names. You are welcome to come to the podium where everyone may hear your voice better if you like. Please aim for about 3 minutes. You'll also get the clock. There's another reason it's helpful to be there. Aim for no more than 3 minutes if possible, because we do have a lot of people who want to talk. So we will begin with Barbara Ditzler, individual, followed by Steve Doggrass.
Hello, I'm Barbara, better known as Lee Ditzler, and I'm a Montgomery County resident. And first of all, thank you for having this in Montgomery County, because the last few times we have not had it in Montgomery County. So I think it's great that I feel like more people are represented. I agree with almost all of the recommendations that have been put forward in this 2015 proposal. And I think it's so important that we have fair and open redistricting process with an independent commission. And the independent commission is important to me because it has to be neutral. We have so many unaffiliated voters here in Montgomery County, and I know in the rest of the state of Maryland, that we need to not just emphasize a party of whoever is in power to be on the commission because they're an elected official, but to have true representation so every voter, no matter what their affiliation is represented. As the districts are drawn, I think right now the districts are almost laughable because you can see the different characters, the different monsters in the districts, and I think we really need to look at how they are compact, how they are contiguous, how they are drawn across the boundary lines best for cities and counties, and they should be drawn so that we can have access to our representatives. I feel like the way they are now, that a representative is servicing such a huge area, and if I want to talk to my representative, they may not know me. And I think it's really important that they are compact enough that each representative can feel like they can go and have a meeting and the people can come to them and that they can be in communication with them. Given the Supreme Court evaluating all of the redistricting procedures, I think it's really important that Maryland at this time takes a harder look and does the right thing. I think it's important that we go in front of what a decision is, not to be reactive to say, oh, I guess we have to do this, but to say, this is the right thing to do. This is how we can represent every voter in the state. I think that we want to make sure that no matter who it is, whether they're a minority voter, whether they are a Republican, whether they're a Democrat, whether they're an independent, everyone feels like they're represented. So I think that this commission is on the right track, and I hope that we continue to go forward and do the right thing for all the voters in Maryland.
Thank you. Steve Doggrass will be followed by Carla Steinborn.
Actually, can I just stand here?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
That mic is not on.
Feel free to speak from there.
Okay.
I didn't actually plan to say anything, but that won't stop me. I just have a couple of thoughts. I do think this should proceed with some independent commission, but I don't think that's going to solve our non-democracy problems. Because, well, for myself, for example, I'm in one of the famous districts, and my vote is now meaningless except in statewide elections. It's meaningless nationally. It's meaningless in national primaries. It's meaningless in my local elections. The only place where it matters is a statewide election. That would be for senators, and only in the primaries, and for governor. Otherwise, you know, I shouldn't even bother to vote anymore. To me, this isn't democracy. And on these commissions, even though I think it's a good way to go, I think it's human nature that the parties will immediately start working on ways to defeat that solution. For example, they might have unaffiliated voters who aren't really unaffiliated, especially if it's just based on whether you're registered for a party. I already know people who register in the other parties so they can pick lousy candidates. So there's a lot to this problem besides just redistricting, but I completely support your efforts on this, which I consider just the start to America returning to being a democracy.
Kathy Gugulis will be followed by Richard A. Kerr.
I'd like to stand here, if I may. Kathy Douglas, I am here as a private citizen, a born and bred Marylander. I live in Gaithersburg. And I just have a brief statement, and that's that I believe that partisan gerrymandering disenfranchises the citizens of their right to elect true representatives by predetermining what party is going to prevail. So this disincentivizes people from voting, and that's wrong in this country. That's wrong in this state. It puts the state of Maryland on par with the third world dictatorship. We deserve better. We deserve better, and our state legislature should take the commission's recommendations and act on those without waiting for somebody else, like the Supreme Court, to tell them what to do. So we, I think, as citizens of this state, deserve better representation, and I thank you for the work that you've done on this commission.
Thank you. Richard A. Kerr will be followed by Robin Ficker. Richard A. Kerr? Oh, okay. Robin Ficker will be followed by Paul Selby.
Okay. Great visits, man. Great visits, guy.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
You ruled against me in the last case I had.
That's all right. That's all right. Zero. All right.
Good evening, members of the commission. Thank you for being here, and good evening, Montgomery County citizens. I wanted to put in front of you a table which shows how each state legislative district varies in population, or at least how it varied in 2010. And it shows that the districts varied from almost 5% over the ideal or median population to almost 5% below it. It turned out that 70.3% of the Democrats represented fewer than the ideal population size, but only 12% of Republicans represented fewer than the ideal population size. It showed that 88% of Republicans represented more than the ideal population size, but only 29.6% of Democrats represented more than the ideal population size. You know, we have such good computer techniques. I would suggest that you folks would say or suggest to everyone that each district should not deviate more than 2% of the ideal population. We know the population of each precinct now. We can make these districts very much the same. Instead of allowing districts to vary by 5%, limit it to 2%, so that we won't have all the Republicans or excess number of Republicans crowded into a Republican district and a deficient number of Democrats crowded into a Democratic district. I think that would make it more fair, just to have a 2% limit. And this graph, this compilation, which was evidently done by a delegate from Caroline County, or at least that's what the notes say, is instructive in that regard. You know, if you're looking to make the districts compact, I think you could just very well get a group of very bright 12-year-olds and have them look at the map and say, is that district contiguous and compact? Assuming they knew what those words meant. And if they looked at District 3 as the way it is now, any average 12-year-old would say no. District 2, they would say the same. District 4, they would say the same. District 6, District 8. So just get a group of honest, naive, young people. They don't have to be sophisticated or political. Have them look at the map and ask them, is that district compact? And we'd end up with a much fairer system than we have now. And I think that the redistricting should also extend down to the county council races. I know that the winner of the county council race that had the closest race in 2010 in Montgomery County, then the redistricting occurred, and he kicked out 7 precincts that he lost and had them put in another district. And that was done solely to protect him. I would like to see these applied to Montgomery County state legislative districts, which in some cases are grotesquely drawn, and to county council races as well as congressional districts. So in any way, there's my summation. I gave you a few interesting figures about the legislative districts. Please pass fair redistricting so that the people don't feel like they're the victims of political dirty tricks, so they feel like the system is fair, so they feel like their vote counts. It's nice to be with you, and I appreciate the hard work that you've done. I don't think you're paid very much to do this. You're serving your country, and you're serving our state by being in the position you are.
Thank you. I will note that the commission was indeed persuaded by this logic, not on appointing 12-year-olds, but on the first point that the population variance in state legislative districts is being abused at ±5%, and we recommend ±1%, which is the practice in many other states. A much fairer way of doing it.